Hi everybody. Well, it's another gorgeous day. Hi baby. Hi baby. Another absolutely gorgeous day in the Twin Cities, and I thought maybe I'd have some cookies and coffee with you. So I have some peanut butter cookies, and I have some coffee, and sit down and tell you a transit story or two. On 4 of my video posts, someone has asked me to talk about my transit story. So here's what. We'll start with this. This is the this is the, whatever it is, here it is. This is a calendar published by Holler and Associates. And this shows the 4 phases of Twin City Rapid Transit Company. And no, it doesn't. I don't know what it shows. Anyway, October 2012, representing my birthday, October 6th, it shows me with 1303, Twin City Rapid Transit Company 1303. Sorry, I don't remember the serial number. I'm sorry about that. It may be 906. I know that's important, and I'm sorry I neglected to stick that in my long-term memory. It goes in and out of my standard memory instantly. But there I am. That was in 2002, I believe. I was not working for the transit company at that time. So, what happened was, oh, here it is. These are the 4 phases of Twin City Rapid Transit Company, from horse cars to electric streetcars. From horse cars to electric streetcars, to PCC cars, I know it's hard to see what I'm doing, but I'm looking at a camera display that's not really bright enough out in open sunshine. So I hope I'm displaying this correctly so you can see it. And I'm going to try not to jump around. But anyway, so this calendar, 2001, shows different phases of development in, since this just was the end, coming to the end of the state fair here in Minnesota on Labor Day. This was the streetcar terminal at the state fairgrounds in St. Paul, Minnesota. This is Hennepin Avenue in Minneapolis, downtown Minneapolis, about 1950. Somewhere around the late 40s or early 50s, this is Hennepin Avenue between 7th Street and 6th Street in downtown Minneapolis. This is 6th and Hennepin in front of the Masonic Temple. This is a building that we Masons erected at the corner of 6th and Hennepin in 1886. This is a building we occupied many years. There's no longer a Masonic Lodge in this building, and it's no longer owned by us, but it still stands. It stands today. This shot was taken around 1950, 51, with a PCC car. Shortly after this photo was taken, the PCC cars were put up for sale. Transit operations in the Twin Cities was undergoing a change. Streetcar lines, one by one, were converted to bus operations, and that rendered the use of a large quantity or a big fleet of streetcars unnecessary. So Twin City Rapid Transit kept the old streetcars and sold off the newer PCC cars. And there's lots of history about that, which I won't go into. You'll notice that these summer pictures, or these pictures are all summertime. Here is a Twin City Rapid Transit Company 5103. This bus was purchased and operated in St. Paul. This bus was equipped with springs, not air suspension. Consequently, its loaded weight exceeded the GVRW, or whatever you call it. Anyway, they were too heavy. Minneapolis streets did not permit the use of a heavy vehicle like this. The 5105s were lighter, and there's information on that I'm not going to go into now. And we're allowed in both cities. Here is part of our winter operations. This is, I can't tell you what station this is out of, but this is a snowplow operation. Now, here in the Twin Cities, and maybe on other systems, off-duty motormen were invited in to operate snowplows in order to keep the streets clean. Minneapolis and St. Paul required the street railway system to maintain the streets. That means kept them clean in the summer and plowed the snow in the winter. So crews could be called in, or if they were off duty for some reason, day off, vacation, whatever, when there was a heavy snowfall predicted, come down to the station and sign in for snowplow duty. I was too young to work for streetcars, so I missed that opportunity, but motormen have told me, God, what fun that was, until about the 5th or 6th hour when they had hit a snowbank and bounced the front truck off the tracks, and then had to get out wedges and shovels and pry bars and get the wheels back on the rails. And then it didn't become fun anymore. Okay, so there you have that. One more, and then I'm going to go sit down and have my coffee. Here we go. How about a nice day on the Riverside and 27th Avenue line? Wouldn't that be a fun summer afternoon? These people are probably not just enjoying a leisurely horse car ride. These people are either going to or coming from work. So that'll be it. I'm going to go sit down and have my cookies and coffee now, and I'll tell you a transit story. But first, if you ever come to visit me at my house, remember, bring peanut butter cookies, and remember, in this house, dunking is allowed. You are permitted to dunk your cookies at my house. I might just cut that out. That just doesn't sound quite right. Or I'll leave it in until I watch this video and then I'll see. Meanwhile, I would appreciate it. If I keep this in, please don't make any risque remarks. You've all been so good about the respect of the YouTube videos, and I appreciate that, as well as all of us contributors do. Now, I hired on as a bus driver in August of 1957. I was assigned the North Side Garage because that's where I lived, on the North Side. I lived on Minneapolis North Side. Our home was on Newton Avenue North, just off Plymouth Avenue. And I worked for Twin City Lines out of North Side Garage. And in, I believe it was around September of 1958, may have been a little sooner. I have no photographs, by the way. You know, when we were young, most of us didn't think of taking pictures. And now look at us. Nothing from the past, except accidentally in some picture somebody else took. You know, it's too late to worry about it. But so 25 of us drivers who didn't have much seniority got bumped over to Nicollet Garage in South Minneapolis. Transit companies throughout the world are constantly moving lines around and adjusting routes according to the movement of people. Logistics is a term that's used. And so at the main station, at Snelling Station, there was a big war room with charts and boards and schedules, and they're watching the surveys, and they're watching how loads are changing from one place to the other, and they're observing points where there should be expansion and points where there should be contraction. And turns out, so this constant movement creates personnel issues at each of the stations. So Northside Garage is losing one of their main routes, which is going over to Nicollet Garage, and that's the Chicago, Penn, and Fremont line, the 5 line. And ridership is increasing on that line, and it's getting difficult to maintain equipment on that line. So we move 25 drivers and 25 buses from Northside over to Nicollet Garage for the purpose of maintaining service on the 5 line. Well, it comes out that because Nicollet Garage is on 31st and Nicollet, 1 block from Lake Street, and every line except 2 crosstown lines in South Minneapolis cross Lake Street. This makes it very easy and very simple for drivers to make driver relief instead of bus relief. So now buses that pull out in the morning for line runs, I'm not talking about the rush hour service, I'm talking about the line runs, and it's not necessary to pull buses in and out of the garage. A driver can go out, walk down to Lake Street, hop on a bus, and ride to his crosstown route, and switch with the existing driver who comes back to the station and checks out. Now you get paid for that travel time. It's marked up from the time you leave the station, anticipating the schedule of the buses. Now the buses on Lake Street run every 10 minutes, so it doesn't make any difference. You don't need to worry. Just get up there and a bus will be there. So that's how we switch drivers. Now, that driver that switches with a day run is probably doing that somewhere between noon and 2 p.m. So now he's working what's called a sunshine run. His run will take him through the afternoon, through the evening rush hour, and around to 8 or 9 p.m., which is by now time buses are now being pulled into the garage. You know, the wind is blowing and it seems to be tilting this camera. It looks to me like we're sitting here on an angle, and it won't adjust, so it's going to stay where it is. Okay, so now after 8 p.m., service is dropping back and buses are pulling in. So that bus may get another relief driver or may pull in. So if that relief occurs, it will occur somewhere around 7 to 9 p.m. We don't make reliefs after that. So that bus will stay out on the line, and some buses will pull in, thinning out service. The last regular service is at 1 a.m. The 1 a.m. lineup is the last of the regular service on any line in the Twin Cities. Now, several of those lines have owl service, and those are buses that run all night long. So those drivers pull out of the garage and make the 1 a.m. lineup downtown. There's a 5-minute layover downtown at Central Transfer Points, which is Hennepin Avenue, or Marquette, or 2nd Avenue. Those 3 points are where you make your transfer connections to finish your ride. Beginning at 1 a.m., there's 1 hour owl service between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. By 5 a.m., the next day's service has started, and the whole system repeats all over again. Weekend service is diminished considerably, but there is service on every line on weekends. And that interval of service depends on the patronage. So that's our story, or that's my story for now. Now I'll tell you a little quick story. It was, well, that story is, okay. Yeah, well, I'll talk about that. The 6th line, the Como-Harriet line, passes Lake Calhoun in South Minneapolis and passes Lake Harriet on its way to Edina. And on weekends, when there's a band concert, patronage is extremely heavy, and normal service would be vastly overloaded. So drivers are called in. Do you want to work Sunday? If you have enough Sunday to take, if you have enough seniority to take Sunday off and want to work a little extra, then you can volunteer to sign up for Sunday service. Now you get paid for that, and so you come through downtown Minneapolis or through downtown St. Paul, and you have a window placard. Your overhead sign says special, and you have a window placard that says express to Lake Harriet. Now that got into a lot of issues, so people were getting passed up by the bus, didn't like it. You could take regular service. You could take the Selby Lake line from St. Paul, or the interurban line. The Selby Lake was the 21, the interurban was the 16. And you could take that over to downtown Minneapolis and take a 6. So now these specials, concert extras we call them, over to Lake Calhoun. Now, the drivers then took their buses over to like a backyard behind St. Thomas Church on 39th and or 44th rather. It was the old streetcar line layover, the old Como Harriet streetcar line layover for the same purpose, the concerts. So you park your bus over there, and there would be what's called an inspector or a starter at Lake Harriet. And when the concert was about to wind up, then he called over. There was a telephone box at the layover point, and he would call over and start bringing buses back to Lake Harriet to pick up crowds. And the same buses that took people there took people back. So there was no confusion. Drivers were instructed to tell people, look at the bus number and write it down and remember it, because this is your bus going back to where I picked you up. So that's how we handled those things. I'll tell a winter story or two. Well, the dynamics of our transit system in the Twin Cities really fire up when winter comes. Can you imagine ice and snow and cold, and people leave their cars home? We have to put on every bus and every driver we can get to handle the rush hour crowds in the winter. It tapers off a little in the summer when people go back to driving their cars. So that'll do it for now. Have some cookies and coffee with me, and thank you, and God bless you. I hope you like this little piece, and I'll put this on following the Meatloaf show, which will be toward the end of this week. Today is Tuesday. I know, I thought yesterday was. Today is Tuesday, September 7th, 2021. It is 1 p.m. Central Daylight Time in Columbia Heights, Minnesota. 5 miles directly south of me is downtown Minneapolis. So, right if you get work and hang by your thumbs. Bus Old Man Phil here.